Ooh, the second time around is always the best. We just recorded this show a few minutes ago. This is Double J, my tag team partner. He is one half of the living legends of Randall Briscoe and good old JJ. Howie Cheney looks really sleepy because he just did an hour recording this the first time. Folks, we got 45 minutes into the recording of this show and realized we'd had an internet function. And none of it, zero, recorded. So you're going to get the special 30-minute edition of the independent tag teams. Because if you want to hear us talk about them, we'll come back and talk about them another time. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through. We broke down about tag team 5. So we're going to quickly recap each one of us, our 6 through 10 with comments back and forth. And then we'll go on and start at number 5 again. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
All right, Howie Sleepy Cheney. We've got 2 viewers. Welcome to our second recording of the same show. Stay with us because we've done this once. All right, Howie Cheney, kick us off.
I like the intro you gave us earlier. I wish you went back and done that, but well, that's no problem.
Hey, listen, I missed my calling. I know my intros are good. Let me give you another one. From Sand Mountain, Tennessee, Howie Cheney.
That is just like the first one. There you go.
All right.
Yeah, we're talking about independent tag team wrestling. We took a week off last week, personal issues and everything, work, personal, and all that stuff. So we're going with independent wrestling, anywhere from Fort Payne, Alabama, to Australia, to Japan. It don't matter. I'm sure that y'all have changed y'all's list since the first 45 minutes.
In the last 5 minutes.
Yes, I have.
So what we're going to do is, like Randall told you, it's going to be an abbreviated version because we sat through this for literally 39 minutes earlier. And so,
I'm a 60-minute man, baby.
So
I'm about a 22-minute man, and I need a nap.
Anyway, we're going to go with 10 through 6 real quick, and
I'll go first.
You want to go first because you changed yours?
No, I'll do number 10 first, and then I'll give it over, and he can do 10 through 6. At number 10,
hold on a second. You're wanting to get somebody in there before he gets it in there. Is what it is.
I have Santana Ortiz, Kings of Wrestling, American Wolves.
Hey, stop.
Motor City Machine Guns. Added to number 10.
Go
ahead, Jeremy. You can lead us off.
For the people that don't really know what's going on, was we went 10 through 3 a while ago, and Randy never mentioned Motor City Machine Guns at all. So it was our guy right here that mentioned it. So
yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Jeremy. Start off 10 through 6 real quick.
All right. So at number 10, and as I said the first go around, I'm only doing it because I have to. It is
his favorite tag team, folks.
the Jacksons, whatever their names are.
Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks. And the only reason I've got them there is they've got over wherever they've been. I hate them personally, but that's because they're good heels. So at my number 10,
establish a replay earlier tonight. Hey, Randall's going to have them much higher.
Yeah. Well, I really hate them because Randall loves them. It's basically the way I look at it.
Did y'all like the little thing? Omega can come back and y'all can start your Omega Maniacs hating after they.
Yeah, well, I'm there. Come on back. Give me somebody to hate. It's killing me. Can you mute him?
Let me be honest with you. Randy planned this the whole time because he wanted to hear you say the Young Bucks twice in one episode.
Well, there you go. You got it. I will. The hate.
This may
The
be
word.
better than the first time.
The word hate will always be attached to the word to the Young Bucks for me.
So it's going to be the HYBs. Hate Young Bucks.
not the hate club or whatever that is with Nick Gage and Matt Tremont, but it's the hate club for the Young Bucks. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Go ahead. 10 through 6. You got number 10.
Right. Young Bucks. I got number 9, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian. If you want to throw Scorpio Sky in there, Randall, you can do that. But Daniels and Kazarian, great tag team in TNA. One of my favorites. We talked about Kazarian. Daniels has been around a long time. Great worker. I've never seen him have a bad match. I liked him as the fallen angel, just like Randall mentioned. Kazarian is being underused right now, maybe by choice. I don't know. Just a great talent and real asset to AEW. They're just not being used right now, the way that it probably should or could. All right, so my anybody. I need to pause for anybody. All right. So my number 8. Now Randall's gonna try to jump on the bandwagon. LAX. That is Santana Ortiz, currently in AEW, but it originated with Homicide and Supermex, as Randall said, Hernandez. Both teams, both of those groups were great for LAX. Randall, you're the historian. You mentioned the feud between the two with Conan on one side and Eddie Kingston. Fantastic. LAX.
Yeah, do you remember in TNA when they had Homicide, LAX?
Hey, yeah.
And then they had Santana and Ortiz with now AEW Eddie Kingston. That was a great feud, and I cannot go without remiss with mentioning Rich Jasper's The British Bulldogs and Heart Foundation. Rich, join us in 2 weeks when we top all-time tag teams. Both of your tag teams will make our list. I have a feeling they'll be very high on our list, Rich.
And if I'm not mistaken, our WWF list, both teams were very much present a few weeks ago.
Yes,
so, yes, absolutely.
But
two of my favorites.
I still think got to tell the Homicide story where he got shot, went and bought some Fenman hygiene products, stuffed it in his leg, went and wrestled his match, and then went and got sewed up afterwards. Toughest guy I know.
I have a feeling, as I said earlier, that was not a wrestling gimmick name. That was probably a street name for him. Still wrestling, by the way, still in the NWA right now, playing a part, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
so that's my number 18. My number 17. I've thought about it. I've thought about what you said because of what you did with this team, but I'm going to keep my opinion the same. My number 17 is America's Most Wanted, early TNA, Cowboy James Storm, Chris Harris. Heels. They're heels. Multi-time tag team champion. So enjoy Cowboy in any form or another. Oh, yeah. So that's my number 7, and I got one more, right?
Yes.
My number 6 is my mind. I'm completely fried from that first 45 minutes, but the American Wolves, Davey Richards, whom I miss, Eddie Edwards, the Wolves, great stint in Impact, tag team champions. Am I correct? I didn't research this, but wasn't Eddie Edwards and the Impact World Champion also?
Yes.
That's what I multiple times. Howie and I had the privilege to watch that team. Probably hadn't worked together in a while at Ric Flair's last match. Great team. So that's my 10 through 6 in a nutshell.
All right, my 10 through 6 nutshell starts with a tie at number 10. The same LAX, except Santana and Ortiz, my version. I liked it better, the more athletic, the more round team. Still going today. Super Mex, though, shout out to Hernandez. Could have been a superstar in another era. He was a great worker. And my tie with that team, I got to pull my list back up. Believe it or not, I can't remember. 3 things you do in Tennessee: church, lawnmower racing, and wrestling. We're going to leave that one up for the rest of the show.
Alabama too, buddy.
My other team was the King of Wrestling's Chris Hero, Claudio Cascanova, better known as Cesaro, the first superstars of Ring of Honor. We talked about how strong Claudio is and how muscular he is, and we compared him to John Cena and Cena's ability. At number 8, I'm going to add a little bit at number 8 because I did not mention the first time around, and we need to do a different show. My favorite theme song.
Not gonna lie, man, I like it.
Red Dragon. Now, we talked about a lot of things that they've done. Of course, Red Dragon and Ring of Honor, New Japan superstars go to WWE, become stars with Roderick Strong and Adam Cole in the Undisputed Era. And I thought, Jeremy, I meant to ask you, was the Undisputed Era the best faction in the last 5 years in the WWE? I thought it was a great faction.
I agree with you. I know, I really do. That black and gold product, I mean, you throw Adam Cole in there. I mean, Roderick Strong, loved everything about it. Loved the theme song. I mean, you had guys that could fight, O'Reilly,
Right.
You know, and then you had guys like Adam Cole that, you know, they're great performers.
And I think we're set up to see a major run, a feud between Omega and the Bucks, Adam Cole and Red Dragon. It's coming.
I'm in on that too. I would really enjoy that if they set the story up right.
They've been long telling that story.
Yeah. I don't even really think they should have ever in the NXT. They should have ever broke that group up.
Should have brought up the main roster together. I thought they were there.
They should have. Who knows what they were thinking? I think Vince was thinking about other things.
He had a lot of money to throw around, but they don't. At number 8, SCU. My version I like best is Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. We talked about Sky struggled a ton with Dan Lambert, kind of overshadowed by the mouth, Dan Lambert. Yeah. And I think it's not ironic that my number 8 was SCU and my number 7 was the North. Ethan Page, Josh Alexander. And again, I'm going to stop for a second, guys. How great is Josh Alexander? I mean, he's a great worker.
Yeah. And you know, you brought it up earlier, but, you know, he's shades of Arn Anderson to me.
He is.
He's just got that build, strength. Impact World Champion, by the way, right now. We watched him wrestle Fatu. Jacob Fatu. You know, they didn't, of course, that wasn't about them. It was a match. They were trying to make sure they got out on time, and they did. But yeah, Alexander's legit. Ethan Page is legit, man.
Kind of lost in the American Most Wanted gym
or whatever. That, you know, the Lambert thing, like we said, he's great on the mic, but he's too good. He's not. And Howie mentioned it, or one of us mentioned it. Jim Cornette, as good as he was, he always put his team over, and Lambert didn't do that.
100%.
Whether that's by choice or it's just he wasn't thinking about it. And but yeah, SCU, great team.
Man of the year. I finally remember.
Yes, stupid man. That's like the best man. Miro makes his debut as the best man for Kip Sabian. Where is Kip Sabian now?
I don't know. Where's his girlfriend's what I want to know.
That's Penelope Ford.
At number 6 for me was from AAA, my only AAA entry. The best 2 luchadors in the country, I think, that wrestle in America regularly. And we talked about them. Just Ray Phoenix and Penta El Zero. Small guys that do constant high spots, constant all over the place, great wrestlers. People I'd love to see. I'll pay money to see Ray Phoenix any day of the week.
Yeah.
So here's the good news, guys. We just did in 15 minutes what we did in 45 minutes the first time.
I'm scrolling through the computer now, and I actually see we're live on Facebook. So there we go.
Oh, there we go. Folks, 15-minute show for so let's pick up. I think we need to pick up at 5 again and really talk about these teams.
I got a quick question, Jeremy. Is it just me, or does Randy look like he's Jimmy Valiant back in the day with the head beard? You can't unsee it now.
Tony Schiavone.
Oh, and it's great too.
He does. I swear. Hey, Randall, grow that beard out.
And then we'll go to
do that. Get just for Gray. Put it in there. You do this right here. You're in.
He's still wrestling.
Still wrestling. We talked about Ric Flair at 73. What's Jimmy Valiant? 80?
148.
He's still wrestling. Wow.
So, all right, guys. Jeremy,
hey, hold on. We can't. I don't care what a hurry we're in. You all can't bring it up, not have a little.
Shavato.
How was that?
Paul Jones. Was it Big Mama? Not going to shave Big Mama's head. That was great, Howie. That was really The more you do that, the more I see it.
All right,
that's great.
All right, Jeremy, let's start off with number 5.
Woo! All right, my number 5, TNA, one of the better tag teams in the history of TNA.
Don't feel like my boogeyman, Jimmy Valiant.
There you go.
Here,
Let it real, baby. That's what I'm saying. Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns. I hope I got that right. But the reason I enjoyed this tag team, and again, they're no longer working together. We saw them a few weeks ago. It's kind of nice to see them working against the Wolves. The reason I really enjoyed it, and again, I had a big gap where I didn't watch wrestling or keep up with it. When I finally came back into the fold, so to speak, I watched everything I could get a hold of on TV or on cable, and TNA was one of those things. And the thing I loved about them, to me, they were innovative at the time. They're not big guys, but they were innovative. High flyers. I liked the gimmick. I really did. I enjoyed the gimmick, and they were really entertaining to me. Multi-time tag team champions. Chris Sabin has actually held the Impact title on his own, the world title. So that's one of my favorite groups if I think about just tag teams that are not associated with a big company, right? Motor City Machine Guns at number 5 for me.
Let me throw something out real quick. A lot of y'all's tag teams are in the TNA or was in TNA at one time. It was basically during the same era. Mm-hmm. Were they so good because they had other good tag teams to work with?
You know who's not on either one of our lists? I don't think. That's an indie tag team that was there in TNA. Bubba Ray and Devon.
Oh yeah. Wow.
You know who else was there? The Machine Guns, the Wolf.
Yep.
You know who else was there? Rhino. You know who else? Rhino and I forget his tag team partner was. Here you go. How John Steele says you look serious. That's because he's been working double time, John.
He's sleepy.
American Most Wanted. There's some tag team we are missing there. Golly, who was?
Well, you had the Kazarian and Daniels, and
Yeah.
you had, and you mentioned them, and I hate to even bring it up again. You had a young tag team by the name of Generation Me thrown in there at one point.
Fortune.
Well, that's
hey,
mentioned
here's one. You had the British invasion. Nick Aldis. Yep, that was a good team, and they had the big guy, the heater, Rob Terry, big muscled up, jacked up dude. I like that team. So
the more we talk about it, the more we may have to do just a TNA.
Yeah. Well, and to answer your question, Howie, if we hadn't already, I think that's the reason they were so good is because those were all the teams were really good, and they weren't, for the most part, they weren't thrown together teams. Like, hey, you ain't doing nothing, you ain't doing nothing. Hey, y'all are tagging. So that made it good.
I tell you, the one that nobody thinks about that I absolutely loved was the Menagerie with Tina Brooks, known as Rebel in AEW. Knox from the WWE was Nux, and then Crazy Steve, and they were like some carnival performers and stuff. Absolutely great tag team that was in.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. Crazy Steve.
Wow. TNA could be its own character. And I'm telling you, AWA, I could go on. I'm telling you, the fact that I didn't put Kurt Hennig and Scott Hall on this list just boggles my mind.
Well, I mean, listen, man, we mentioned it, Crusher and Bruiser, Road Warriors, Bockwinkel and Stevens, Gagne and the High Flyers there, Gagne and Jim Brunzell. You could go on and on with those teams.
One of the few AEW, and my number 5 is from the AEWA, which is the Crusher and Bruiser, as you mentioned. But I'm gonna go on an AWA tangent for a minute. Crusher and Bruiser, multi-time world champion, multi-time tag team champion. Jeremy made the point of the 1,700 days as the tag team champions. Guys, this is how good the AWA tag team division was. From their first pay-per-view, like a Brawl for All, whatever it was, the tag team matchup of the night was for the AWA Tag Team Championship, the Road Warriors versus the Fabulous Freebirds. So you had Michael Hayes, Terry Gordon at its finest versus Hawkins. And it's hard for me not to believe I didn't do more AEW, but I want to say AEW, but AWA. But Crusher and Bruiser were a tag team for 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Legendary. Dick Alphalus, former Green Bay Packer. And they were that Midwest. Crusher was from Milwaukee, and I think Dick Alphalus was originally from Chicago, but they played football at Green Bay. They had that Wisconsin vibe. Drank beer before Stone Cold. Drank beer.
Tough guys.
Drank beer and ring.
Hey, 5. So let's throw these in here real quick. Harley Race, Larry the Axe Hennig. The Butcher, Mad Dog Vachon.
I mean,
you could keep going. There's a lot. Hey, Midnight Rockers.
Midnight Rockers. Ray Stevens and Nick Bockwinkel was credited in one of those cauliflower ear club things. Greatest bumping tag team in history. You know who else was in the AWA for years? the Texas Outlaws, Dirty Dusty Rhodes, the Loose Cannon, Dick Murdoch. Golly bum, great tag teams.
Yeah.
1,700 days, that's close to 6 years. That's unprecedented.
Now that was, let me clarify too, Howie. That wasn't consecutively. They dropped the title, regain it, but through the entirety of their career as a tag team together, they held that AWA title for that many days. So
if you can find,
I want to clarify that and make sure, but that's still a long time. I don't care.
Right, yeah.
We're in my basement is a series of matches between Larry the Axe Henning and Harley Race in the Crusher and the Bruiser.
Oh, I'd love to see some of that, man.
Y'all copy of it. It's just unreal physicality.
Yeah.
But that's still a long time, regardless of how many times they lost it, all that.
Yeah.
But, you're not going, sometimes I throw around and think about some of the sports records that'll never be broke and say what you want to about wrestling, but that could be one that may not ever be broken as far as the tag team holding it for 1,700 something days.
When we did our Japanese list, if I'm not mistaken, and I'd have to go back and look at my my list.
They had it for 10 years. I remember. I think
there was a couple. Baba and Saruda.
Yeah.
A total of 3,127 days. Baba and Inoki, 1,444 days. So you had some long-term champions, but 1,700 plus days, no joke.
Yeah. All right, Randy, you're number 4.
Beer, money, and well, again, I'm going to just put it, James Storm and question mark. I like James Storm, Robert Roode, Beer Money. I thought they were the better team, but shout out James Storm and Wildcat Chris Harris. Great team, too. Brought TNA. Now, listen, guys, I'm going to say something. If they don't mess TNA up, we don't have AEW. TNA was on the verge at one point.
Yes.
But the same guy that killed the WCW killed TNA. Thanks, Hulk Hogan.
I thought it was Vince Russo. I thought it was Bischoff.
They were all the same little clique there together.
It was Hulk Hogan and Dixie Carter.
Two odd right there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, in the new TNA, if nobody sees it, Access TV, it's really good. Got some names I don't necessarily know. Ace Austin, one of my favorites, great worker. Josh Alexander, their worst champion that he hurt in the North. I think AEW thought by getting Ethan Page, they'd get Josh Alexander, and he's Canadian and wanted to stay in Canada. And those that don't know, the people that own TNA now, the name and the TV show, it's a Canadian-based wrestling organization. So there's a lot of problems with Canadian wrestlers coming into America too, more than they should be. So it's simpler for Canadians to stay in Canada and work.
Yeah, the vaccine mandates and everything that Canada has is really making it difficult for any athlete. Matter of fact, it's trying to cross over.
Yes.
But,
all right, Jeremy, we're ready for your number 4.
All right, my number 4, already been mentioned. I've got them a little higher on my list. That is Penta, Ray Phoenix, the Lucha Brothers. I hate for us to rehash what was already been said, but we wasn't on air when it was said. But listen, I know, Lucha wrestling, it's taken me a little while to get used to it because, it's constant action. It's high spots. There's no selling hardly involved, which that still bothers me. I mean, because if I get kicked upside the head, I'm not going to pop up and bounce off the ropes and give somebody a Hurricane Rana or, Tope Suicida after I've already got, kicked in the head. So with that being said, Howie and I'm a believer. We went and we saw the 4-man match with Ray Phoenix and Bandito and Black Taurus, and I can't remember the last guy, Laredo Kid. Look, live show, it was freaking insane. I mean, it was great. And so this team being one of those, a smaller team, I love them. I'm gonna say this again. AEW is doing their tag. They're doing their tag team division a disservice by not having these guys right in the thick of the tag team title race. So they're very entertaining.
One word answer from both of you: are the tag teams not being utilized correctly because of the Young Bucks? Jeremy?
I want to say yes.
All right, Randy?
Too many of them.
Well, back to what we said though.
Too many cooks are ruining the stew right now in the AEW.
Well, and you go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The roster, this AEW is built like an indie company. 15 topper guys, maybe 25 total people. Throw in some jobbers. I bet you they have 100 people on their payroll now. That 35 people, I think, when it started, and as much as people criticize it, the Joey Janela and the stuff like that, you knew who was at the top of the card: Chris Jericho, John Moxley, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks. You knew what you were going to get. Now there's some great talents that aren't even used. Hey, Nick, what's his name? Caminella, that's on Dark all the time.
Camarado.
Yeah, that's Bruiser Brody's generation too, if they'd use him the right way. And there's just no spots for this guy. QT Marshall ought to be on the mic every week. People hate him.
They do. I do too.
Too many cooks in the stew, in my opinion.
Well, but so look, and we mentioned this, and I'll say this, and we'll move on. The tag team titles right now are on. Why they are on Swerve and Keith Lee, I do not know. Because to me, they don't have chemistry. I think Swerve, like you, Randall, I think Swerve is better by himself. Keith Lee, I still don't get. And you got legit tag teams, and you threw these two guys together, and we're going to put the titles on. I don't like anything about it. I don't like the gimmick. I don't like the slogan. And that's just me. Some people like them. I think they'd be better individuals than that together as a tag.
You know, it goes back to, like I said earlier, it reminds you of the WCW days of just throwing people together and saying, hey, y'all are a tag team, go after it.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, Jeremy, go ahead.
Well, no, and you know, now I do like the fact, I like Andrade and Roosh being together. Because that's a reunited of a AAA team. Huh? Yeah.
That's family together.
And so, you know what? That match, there you put the Lucha Brothers together, and those two teams feud, even if the title's not involved. I'm in. I like that. I just get tired of them going away from the I want to call them the Dark Circle, whatever that Malachi Black faction is. You know, they'll go away. They'll bring back Pac. They'll feud with him. Pac leaves. He's gone. Just look, this Roosh, Andrade versus these two. They could carry that on for what, a couple of months.
Yeah,
and it would be. I would watch it.
Realize that Andrade and Roosh are like the nephews of Mil Mascaras and Don Calderson, just legendary Mexican wrestlers.
And as bad as some of the tag teams are right now, they're fixing to start this trios thing. So how worse is it going to get by them throwing people together?
Better. Now hear me out. They have been building this for over 3 years, and they've got natural trios. And I think that the one thing they've built together is they do have trios. I think it makes the tag team division worse, and the trios title will be better. I could see the trios title being more important in AEW than the tag team titles.
I don't think I would go that far, but I do like it because one of your points, you do have some trios. You do have some guy, look, I could think, you know what? I would be fine if any combination of the Dark Order won it. Because I'll be honest with you, I like the guys that remain there. And Alan Angels, he's a heck of a wrestler. And Howie and I watched him at one of the live shows, but hey, I like Preston Vance, big jacked up dude. I could see that.
Yep.
Use the Young Bucks, get them out of the tag team division, put whoever with them, and let them win it. That way they can be happy.
I'm sorry, guys, but with you talking about the Dark Order and all that, I just pictured a match between Jonathan Gresham and John Silver.
Hey, I'm in. I want to see that.
I want to see that.
Hey, by the way, John Silver, that he's really small. I love that guy. I think, you can say whatever. The guy is a legit entertainer. He's fit. I mean, he's built. He can wrestle. His character is hilarious. He's an asset to the company, in my opinion.
Just got a comment on the hat how he's wearing. We have a very few of those left, under 5 of the River City Media original hats that Jeremy, I guess we're now under 4. As a cast member, he can order one, but we're selling the last 4 out at $15 a piece. Great hat. Also, same design on shirts. We have 25 of them left. We can do those for 15. No, those are 20. But if you'll do a hat and shirt combination, we'll let you walk out $30. Hat and shirt, $30. It all goes to fund River City Media. Everything to buy better equipment so we don't do shows while we're not on the air. All right.
Hey, so wait a minute. I hope it goes to buy Randall a new hat. Something without a T on it. So I don't know.
Come on, JJ. Me and Shaska's waiting to wrestle.
Shaska Watley.
We're at number 3 with one of you, and I don't know which one it is. I lost.
Well, I did my 4, so we'll go back to
Randy. 2, 3.
I'm going to take a while at 3. By the way,
Okay.
we recorded 45 minutes to get to 3. We just recorded 37 minutes trying to do a version.
Jeremy, go ahead with your number 3.
You are covered. And buy me a razor. Jimmy Boogie Woogie Valiant coming soon. And I will send you my PayPal information, Rich. I got to send a care package up to our buddy on Reckless Speculation, Tom Sloan. So I'll get with you and get you a shirt up to you. Go ahead, Jeremy.
All right, so here we go. The top 3, and I feel really good about this top 3. I think ours are going to be similar, -1. But listen, my number 3, and I struggle with this, and the reason I've got them at number 3 is I haven't taken in as much of their wrestling careers as the other 2. I'll put it that way. So I got at number 3 from Sandy Fort, Delaware, Mark and Jay Briscoe.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk because I'm on.
Who, by the way, I really love. I love this gimmick. I love it. To me,
it's not though.
They could. Well, I mean, they're legit. But I look at those guys and I see how they act, and I think they got to be from Henniger. straight out of Henniger, somewhere from a chicken farm. I love it. I love how they carry themselves. They're in great shape. Their look, even Mark missing the teeth, it's great. Every bit of it. The guys can wrestle, and of course you'll mention it too. But you watch those matches with FTR. I watched a match just this evening. It was a GCW match. Who they just relinquished the GCW tag team titles, just a few months ago, something like that. But they were wrestling the Second Gear Crew, who's not on my list, but shout out to Mance Warner and the Second Gear Crew. But they defeated and won the titles in that. Great match. Little GCW, some of it. I mean, they threw chairs. There was chairs being thrown everywhere. And I'm like, A couple of times maybe, but I love Mark and Jay Briscoe. They could have easily been my number one.
You like the Briscoes like most other people from around here do because of the fact of they could be your neighbors from around here.
Matter of fact, yes. minus the drug use, I hope. I can relate. I can really relate to those guys because I raised chickens. I grew up on a chicken farm. You know, I'm like, these guys, I can relate to them.
Hey, I will give you one detail because I have a feeling we'll be talking about them again later. Briscoe, last name, is in honor of Jack and Jerry Briscoe. That's not their real last name.
Right. So students, obviously students of the game.
Absolutely.
And it shows too.
All right, Randy, you're number 3.
All right, guys, I'm going to need a little time.
We're cutting you off, man.
An indie team that only wrestled in the independent circuit for 26 months. Their whole independent career is 26 months long, start to finish, all the work we have right now. They won every independent tag team championship available in 26 months, most of them multiple. They are household names. They are known wherever they want to go. They have held the New Japan NJPJ. They've held the Ring of Honor. Anywhere they've went, there's the champions. Only 26 months in indie wrestling. Easily could have been my number one team. You think about 26 months, that's not a lot, man. Very little. But accomplished more in 26 months than I think any other independent tag team ever has. Jeremy, would you like to take a guess who that tag team is? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Excuse me.
Yes.
If I had to guess, it's written across my shirt.
It
goes by the letters FTR.
Only in the indie scene since April of 2020 have won AEW Tag Team Championship, have won the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship, have won the AAA Tag Team Championship, currently New Japan Tag Team Champions, have beaten the Young Bucks, have beaten the Briscoes, legitimately beat the Briscoes twice, and you don't walk away going, those boys can never beat the Briscoes. They're badasses. Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, whatever you want to call them now. The Revival in the WWE, to me, they are the team that almost stands up to the test of time of the Road Warriors and the Dudley Boys. They're going to be in that list when they're done. I hate FTR. As bad as Jeremy and Young Bucks, I hate FTR. Because the FTR is the enemy of all the tag teams I like. The Briscoes, the Bucks. But when I wrote out my list, the only reason FTR is not number one, 26 months. If we were doing this show next year, they might be number one. But God, what a great tag team. I give you my number 3. And pay honor to the Midnight Express nightly, FTR.
A quick question. You say in a year they could be higher. What difference would a year make? Are you saying it's not amazing?
I think it was splitting hairs between FTR and Young Bucks at this point in my mind. Splitting hairs. That kind of probably tells you who's number 2. But I had a hard time deciding who would be 1 and 2. And it was just the length of time that FTR had been in the indie scene that kept me from putting them higher. And I mean, even at that, a team like, and I'll go ahead and say, since I'm there, number 2 is going to be the Young Bucks. And I'll go more into that in a minute. But the only reason FTR in front of the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks have multiple-time Ring of Honor champions, multiple-time AEW champions, multiple-time AAA champions, 7-time New Japan Junior champions, one time New Japan heavyweight champions. They've accomplished that over 15, 16 years. And I just couldn't put FTR in front of that yet.
So you throw in a AEW tag team title on top of it for FTR, that may put them over the top. Which they have yet to do.
Well, they have done it. It was
that's right. Short span.
If they become 2-time, here's what I really want to see them do, Howie. This is directed to your answer, your question. What would make them the number 2 or 1 tag team on that list? Leave AEW for 6 months, go wrestle at New Japan, and just spend 6 months in New Japan wrestling the best in the world. Because I think the best tag teams in the world are in New Japan, not AEW. If you really break it down to the top elite 4 or 5 tag teams.
Well, you got to realize, and when I say this, y'all are going to, I think both of you would agree with me, but for 3 to 5 years, they were screwed out of 3 to 5 years by being stuck in WWE.
Yep. And still yet stuck, misused, the only Grand Slam tag team champions in WWE history. NXT, Raw, and SmackDown is NXT. But the problem is they lost favor in Vince McMahon's eyes. And if you want to see something ridiculous, go out and Google the Shatter Machine, because they were going to repackage them and send them back as the Shatter Machine. They looked at PG-13 in Memphis in 1988. That's how ridiculous they would have looked. So I'm with you, man. I love FTR. I hate FTR, but that makes me love them as a tag team. And I'm kind of behind this face turn right now, where they're the good guys for a change. I kind of like that. Let them have a run as a good guy.
Yeah.
Do they kind of remind you of Arn and Tully?
They do, but I really think they're Bobby and Stan, or Bobby and Andre, more than Bobby and Stan. They're both just pure workers, pure workers. And as much as I love Tully and Arn, remember when we talked about Tully and Arn, I had my point that they both were bigger single stars than they are tag team champions. FTR wants nothing to do with being individuals. They are a tag team.
Yeah. Right. All right, Randy. You already gave us your number 2, but go ahead and give it to us one more time, because I want to see Jeremy's face.
Number 2 is Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. There is no AEW without the Young Bucks. As much as they make people mad, there is no AEW without them. And I'm going to tell you my TNA story with the Young Bucks if you haven't heard it. They're in TNA making a lot of money, 6 figures, low 6-figure contract on a guarantee. They bet on themselves. They walk away from it at TNA. Obviously, go to the independent circuit and make a great life for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I know they look relatively young.
They're not.
But Young Bucks are on the backside of their career.
So does that mean they need to change their name to the Old Bucks?
The middle-aged Bucks, but whatever. And we missed a chance to see them here in Chattanooga. That they were coming when they were just a complete indie team to AWF, WOW down in Ringo, Georgia. Paul Lee's son, Lex Lee, had a tag team called the Young Lions, and they were going to do a one night here. Already had tickets, and they had to cancel and rescheduled. But the first time I saw the Young Bucks, they may have been 125 people in the audience. So hate them, don't like them, think they're spot monkeys, Jim Cornette, love you. They went from $50 a night to multimillionaire. I give them all credit.
And and I've talked about how I hate them, and it's more from if you really start looking at them, it's more from a heel perspective. I they're legit. I want to hurt them. I want somebody to crack their skull. But I did hear, you're talking about them being self-made, taking a chance on their self. I did hear at one point they marketed their own T-shirts, things that, and actually got into on their own, got into Hot Topics, which is in the most malls, and they boxed, shipped, did all the stuff on their own. Their wives helping them. So I mean, hey, that's great. And they've got over everywhere they've been, man. Let's just be honest. But I still hate them.
Let me tell you a little secret out there. Pro Wrestling Tees, biggest T-shirt company in the country, started by Matt and Nick Jackson.
See, I did not know that. Wow.
So Pro Wrestling Tees grew out of their. I don't think they own it no more, but that basically grew out of their own business.
So they're smart guys too, on top of it. So.
And be religious or not be religious, we don't push that here. Devout in their religion, good men, fathers, multiple kids. If you hate the Young Bucks, I think they would tell you it's the biggest compliment to them that you can pay them.
Well, that's what they're trying to turn them face right now. I think that's
they're
Red
bad.
Dragon, yeah. And hey, look, I'll go with it. But that heel character they've just come out of, and they've been, I legit hate them. It's like, it's working. They're doing a good job.
I want to run through something with them real fast, and then I'll be done. 2-time AEW Tag Team Champions. I'm not going to mention smaller promotion. Chikara Tag Team Champions. DDT Tag Team Champions. Dragon Gate USA Tag Team Champions. House of Glory. Bubba Ray's promotion, tag team, or Tommy Dreamer's tag team champions. AAA tag team champions. New Japan 7-time juniors tag team champions. 1-time heavyweight tag team champions. 6-man tag team champions. Twice with Kenny Omega, once with Marty Scurll. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla 4-time tag team champions. Pro Wrestling Illustrated Match of the Year versus Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Tag Team of the Year 2017, 2018, and 2021. Number one ranked tag team in the last number one ranked tag team in 2021 PWI Tag Team Wrestling. Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions with Adam Cole and Cody Rhodes. ROW World Tag Team Champions 3 times with ROH Tag Team Championships. World Series of Wrestling Tag Team Championship. Wrestling is Urban Newsletter, Best Wrestling Maneuver, Bang for Your Buck, Best Wrestling Move, The Meltzer Dragger, Tag Team of the Year, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2020, and 2021. Wrestling Match of the Year, 2020 versus Kenny Omega and Adam Page. Pro Wrestling Match of the Year versus the Lucha Brothers, 2021. Best Wrestling Tag Team of the Decade, 2010s, the Young Bucks. When you put all that on paper, boys,
that's a long list.
That's a long list and a lot of successful wrestling.
So throw in their most recent match with FTR has probably been one of the better matches you'll see. Also,
they're a polarizing force. I'll put it that way. And I don't think they're built to be loved. I put it that way too.
Right. They're better heels. Yeah. And that's, again, all that, I acknowledge that. I still hate them. They're still number 10 on my list.
You just answered my question. I was going to ask you after hearing all that, did it change?
No, I still hate them. And that's okay. I don't mean that, hate them as people. I got a lot of respect. But as far as that, I hate them. Brandon Cutler, I hate him. That cold mist, I hate that. I hate the camera. I hate the jumpsuit. But anyway, if Adam Page joins them, I hate him too. So,
yeah, no, it's going to be Omega. Ooh, I look like
well, that's all right. That's already a given. I hate them.
All right, Jeremy, you're 2.
All right, my number 2. It's already been mentioned, but I did approach this a little differently than Randall. But my number 2 team, Cowboy James Storm, Robert Roode, beer, money. And the why is because again, when I came back to watching wrestling, it was one of the first teams that I saw. I love this gimmick. I love the cooler that they rode down. Cowboy rode down to the ring. Robert Roode, to me, he's making money. He may be perfectly happy, but he has been wasted in WWE. This team together, fantastic. They reminded me, and partially I guess it was because Rude used the spine buster. It was shades of Arn and Tully for me. But I loved it.
I was waiting to say that beer money reminds me more of Arn and Tully than
I love it.
FTR.
Cowboy, the whole gimmick, Cowboy today. Hey, I'd love to see those two. I'd just love to see Rude lead WWE, pair back up with Cowboy, do some shows. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, when we was at the Ric Flair's last match, and I said this earlier, but Jeremy, like, the only thing that make this better is James Storm ride that cooler down to the ring.
That's right. I love it. I love that. I don't know why. It's just as they say in wrestling, I pop for it.
If I've been doing my math right, I think number one's going to be a clean sweep.
Well, we'll find out in just a second. Jeremy, let's hear number one.
All right. So, hey, look, we're not far off, but right now is we're sometimes have recency bias, but my number one team right now is known as FTR. And here's why. Number one, I love the tag team. I love the nostalgia. I love the tip of the hat to the Midnight Express. I love the theme song. I could see Jim Cornette coming out, although he won't. I could see him coming out with this team, tennis racket and all, and them becoming the biggest heels they are.
Go ahead. I think that was planned until it went sideways. I think Cornette was supposed to be the heel of AEW, and it went so sideways that when FTR got there, it was impossible to do it.
Well, Cornette is polarizing, to use a fancy term. He is polarizing. He's opinionated. He doesn't care to do it. I think a lot of what he does on his podcast is and we've said this before, I think he's still playing the part. I still think he's being a heel. I think the way he's, his political views, I think he's playing the heel because what's the old Eric Bischoff saying? Controversy creates cash. I think if that's his words that he said, may have come from someone else. So I think he does it. So back to FTR, the match with the Briscoes, clinic. The match with the Young Bucks, clinic. You go back to their stint in WWE. I love it. Midnight Express-esque to me. Tough guys, legit tough guys. They look like the kind of guys that if you went into a bar and got in a fight, that they'd be the kind of guys that you'd want to have on your side. Not that I'm going to a bar, by the way, anybody's watching and getting in a fight, but they just do. And again, some of this is recency bias, as they call it, where most recent. I just love the tag team. I'd rather have them as a heel than a baby face, but I think the crowd has dictated that a lot. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Yeah. They get a lot of cheers, and I think the crowd has actually dictated some of this heel turn babyface.
So to add to your comment, the best match I've ever seen the Best Friends wrestle, the best match I've ever seen the Lucha Brothers wrestle, the best match I ever saw Kenny Omega and Adam Page wrestle, the best match I ever seen the Young Bucks wrestle, the best match I ever seen the Guerrillas of Destiny wrestle. There's one thing in common: FTR's a crowd. They're not my number one, but boy, we're pretty similar up top.
You know, back to Jeremy going to the bar and all that with FTR. Um, you know, proof is in the pudding. Who was the first one to hit the ring? Excuse me, at the Hall of Fame ceremony when Bret Hart got attacked by that fan.
Mm-hmm. It was Dax, was it not?
Yeah.
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 The other guys, they were hanging back. They didn't go to help, but FTR was Superman in the ring to help them.
And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe Dax Harwood is a huge Bret Hart fan.
He is.
Huge. Students of wrestling, students of the game. I love it that they still work a body part. I mean, they'll still get an arm and work an arm for a while. I love it. Makes sense.
And to that point, I don't know if y'all have noticed this or not, but every time they have a match on AEW, they are the only ones that have a tag rope in their corner.
When is the last time they've had a match? That's what bothers me. It's like, this is your hottest tag team that you have right now, and they're not on TV. They make an appearance. I think they made an appearance. They came to the aid of Wardlow. Why are you what are you doing? They stand alone. They don't need to come to. Why are they coming to the aid of Wardlow?
Trio tag team champions.
I guess, but I just think it's dumb. They've squandered Wardlow. FTR shouldn't be coming out. I don't know. Maybe they'll make it work. I'm gonna hang in there.
I think they're desperate to build a clique that works. That's the top of the card, and they keep trying different combination. I'm gonna give you the one I think that works. I think
probably gonna be
works. You leave, but you got to leave this alone once you do it. You get Sean Spears out of there. You get all that trash out of there. You make it simple. FTR, MJF, the best of the best. It's over. One big heater with MJF, doesn't wrestle, does wrestle, but not complicated, not like 13 guys.
Well, the Pinnacle, to me, the Pinnacle was way better than the Inner Circle ever was.
Yeah,
MJF, and it's kind of weird when you got Tully in there and you think he would be the spokesperson, but it was MJF. That was kind of weird, but I could have dealt with the Pinnacle for a while, but it dissipated and no explanation.
Yeah, we don't need to get started on the AEW downfall because there's too much that. I mean, we could go another 3 hours, and probably 2 hours would be off the record because of Randy wouldn't record it or something. So
all that being said, I love AEW product. Now I'm not one of those that's going to get my, but it's just like, hey, why are you doing that? And
we remember what we were there for, to be alternative, and we got to get back to it.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah.
I love AEW, and hey, kudos to the WWE. I've watched 2 weeks of WWE. Best 2 shows that they've had in 20 years.
Look, I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know when Cody's coming back. I'll tell you, I'm in Cody. I'm in Karrion Kross versus Reigns. Cody versus Reigns. I don't care when they have it or where. I will watch that for sure. I'm in.
All right, guys. Howie, can I finally play it?
You're number 1
tag team. Will be in my top 5 of all-time tag teams.
Oh boy.
Reach for the side. Look, man, they have screwed up more opportunities than they know what to do with. Can't be in the WWE. Will never be in the WWE. 21-year vets already.
Yeah.
18 and 17 when they started in Ring of Honor. The early 2000s, Vince brought them in, put them through the tryout camp. Everybody's like, this is the best tag team in the world. They left there. They went home. They were ready to sell their chicken houses and go work for the WWE. Told their wives, hey, we got this. It's done. Got a phone call. You are not cosmetically appealing to the audience. Spent 20 years. These guys legitimately, chicken farm, Monday through Friday. Get in their car, get in their airplane, fly to a show, wrestle Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday. Maybe you'll catch them out on a Thursday, but they've legitimately built a life for themselves. Great family men, great promos, both of them.
Yes.
When I found Ring of Honor, they had them separated. Mark was a singles wrestler, kind of struggling, to be honest. Jay was a 2-time ROH World Heavyweight Champion. Mark Chicken is kind of the comic relief. If you want to laugh, go Google Mark Briscoe sells Christmas sweaters. That's all you got. Watch that video and tell me you don't laugh. So hard. They are 12-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. And I won't go through their whole list, but the tag team of the decade for the 2000s, I don't know what you're supposed to call it, were the 2010, the 2000s up to 2010. Been around a long time. Look, Jay Briscoe said some very ugly things on his Twitter 10 years ago. He apologized for it. And basically, the Turner executives will not allow them to be on TV. You want to turn AEW around, you turn it around by bringing the Briscoes in to feud with FTR for the next, not 2 months.
How about a year?
This is Buzz Sawyer versus Tommy Rich. This goes for the next year, swapping it back and forth. You bring Gorilla Destinies over. You feud them with the Briscoes. The Briscoes 6'2", 6'3", 250 pounds. They are real deal guys. I know Jeremy had them a little lower, but again, the only reason they're there, 21 years, guys. I respect that a lot. That's a lot of indie wrestling, and they have never been in WWE or WCW. They had a cup of coffee in TNA just recently.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a cup of coffee kind of sideways in AEW with the ROH AEW. But credit Tony Khan. Signed them to a long-term contract for ROH. That's where they need to be. But let's slip them into AEW every now and then. Let's get them in there.
I think they pull that. They pull that off on a pay-per-view or something, surely.
If that building to explode like CM Punk, you put the World Tag Team Championships on the Briscoe.
Like I said, dude, I don't argue with you on them being number one. The only reason I didn't have them number one is I haven't followed them as closely. But I love these guys. I mean, straight out of Henniger. I mean, I'm telling you. There we go, right there. I mean, but I could have easily put them number one. But back to that comment about them not being cosmetically. Are you telling me that Earthquake was cosmetically appealing?
I don't know, man.
Are you telling
size on that one?
Huh?
Vince loved the size of Earthquake and those bigger guys.
I mean, hey, look, and I'm not knocking because a lot of the good stuff I've enjoyed, it came out of his brain. But some of the stuff, it's like, hey, are you that dumb that you can't see? It's kind of like watching your favorite team and you got the coach. You're like, why in the heck are you running that play? It's just these guys are legit stars, man.
And y'all saw them for the first time live. I've seen them live maybe 4 or 5 times. When they walk in the building, that music hits instantly. They're legit. You don't have to tell. They don't wear fancy stuff. They're wearing combats. combat boots, t-shirts, but they're in shape. They do not out of shape. They work hard at being the Briscoes, which are long hair, unkept. I mean, they're liable to wear a rebel flag tied around as a thong. That's just who they want to be, you know?
So I've heard it said that the best characters are always just somebody's actual personality, maybe turned up a notch or two. So when you said worked hard, I don't know that they're having to work very hard. I may be dead wrong. But they just seem like they are who they are.
Martin J.
Yeah, so I just enjoy them. I wish I want to go back and watch more of their stuff. But I don't argue with that number one. But I'd say them and FTR, to me, as far as any tag team going right now, I take one of those two.
So with the Briscoes, are they kicking themselves right now for signing that long-term Ring of Honor deal with Triple H being in charge of WWE?
I don't think so. Resigned themselves a long time ago not to ever be in the WWE.
Well, and I think one of the things, and they're like you said, they're family men, and it's something that people don't, everybody think, "Well, man, if I had a chance to do that," I mean, you know you're gonna be on the road, and you're gonna work. They're working house shows again. AEW is not. ROH is not. I mean, they fly out on weekends and get a weekend gig or two, and then they're back home with their families. Training, doing their farm, raising chickens on their farm, tending to the farm. So, for a lot of people, that's more appealing than having the big contract and then you're gone 250 days a year or more. So
I will bet the Briscoes, money wise, do better than some of the WWE tag teams, except for maybe I can see that Usos and the New Day outproducing them dollar wise, but I'm not sure anybody else would.
I love them. Love them. I can relate to those guys. I can't relate to New Day.
You're absolutely. I said earlier that they could be our neighbors or whatever, but you came up with a perfect word. We can relate to them from where we're from. Now, somebody in California or New York City, they probably wouldn't have a clue about, they wouldn't know how to take them, but we know how, and it's funny to us.
Yeah, and that's why. Hey, look, that's why I love Mance Warner, and I talked about Mance Warner a lot last week, and I've just been introduced to him. It's because he's a Southern psycho. I'm like, hey, I'm Southern, and I can relate to this guy.
And what's funny about it is we know people just like them.
That's what I'm saying. It's
right.
Like that guy could just, like you said, just as easily be my neighbor or something. So yeah, the only thing I do not like about I watched a match with the Briscoes, the Second Gear Club or whatever, with Mance Warner and can't remember his partner there, Matthew something, but and Nick Gage. And I look, the only thing I don't like, and fortunately the Briscoes, I guess they didn't allow it. Nick Gage, that guy ain't got nothing. I'm telling you, this guy, he's out of shape. He can't wrestle. All he does is cut people and make them bleed. And he come out with that pizza cutter, and they were gimmicking. It wasn't legit, some of it, but some of it was. Cut Mance Warner up. Now, they didn't touch Briscoes. So I would say probably a good call. And I'd be like Martin J. I'd be like, you come at me with that, you're going to legit get hurt, but yeah, we can relate to some of these guys. I can't relate to Nick Gage.
All right, quick question for you, real quick, for both of you. Out of all your 10 that you've done, you mentioned, are there any of them that could go on their own and be singles? Or instead of, if any, I know there's some that can. Who would be the best one?
Hey, I'll give you Jay Briscoe's a 2-time Ring of Honor world champion. And that's more than CM Punk and Bryan Danielson done in the same organization. And he is he is different when he's outside the Briscoes. He's more of a regular wrestler. So I will give him that. I'll give you Jay Briscoe, but let me give you one that I also think is never gotten the credit he deserves as a single wrestler. And we've talked about him a bunch. And that's the Cowboy, James Storm.
Yeah.
He is a great single wrestler. And the only world title he ever held was for about 2 minutes in TNA. And then they put it on Robert Roode.
Robert Roode. Yeah.
So, and his tag team partner.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Now I agree with Randall. I think Cowboy, he's a good gimmick on his own. You know, he can go. I thought he should have been put in the NWA, the new NWA title race for the 10 pounds of gold. I think he did have a match or two. He still may do that. Eddie Edwards, TNA, multi-time champion. But I'm gonna name this one, and I really believe it. And Howie and I got to see him firsthand. Ray Phoenix.
Yeah.
I believe on his own, he is on another level. I like Penta, and I think they're good as a pair. I don't know that Penta does as well on his own as Ray Phoenix would. Ray Phoenix, yes, I could see him win the world title. I could see him having a real legit run because the guy, golly, just unbelievable. So his only thing just depends. Have a mouthpiece. Abrahantes is with them now, and I think he does a good job being their kind of their mouthpiece, so to speak. But I think I think he'd be great on his own. Not that I want that to happen, but I think he'd be great on his own.
All right, guys, it's been great.
I got
twice.
Hey, in the comments, I've put a couple of matches. One of them, the Briscoes versus the King of Wrestling, the first one. I can't remember who this one is. It's Briscoes and somebody. But this one at the bottom, go to the comments, look it up. It is Mark and Jay Briscoe versus Nakamura and Okada. It's strong. So just they're three of my favorite matches. I happen to have bookmarked to watch. So
I'll be watching that. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Howie, close us out. I'm going to bed.
Any last words from either one of you, real quick?
Learn how to hit
play or record. Hey,
over 2 hours now, and only an hour and 18 minutes have been recording. So
it's that Tennessee hat, dude. If you want to be successful, you can't put that on your head before you start.
Find the mute for OJ. He's on mute. Hey, this weekend, Sequatchie County's at South Pittsburgh. Where are you at, Howie?
I am at Section in Decatur Heritage on K98.
Wow.
Where are you at, JJ?
We'll be down in Piedmont, Alabama at the Field of Champions for a jamboree game between the Fife Red Devils and the defending 3A state champion Piedmont Bulldogs. Should be a good game.
I will be on 93.3 with the defending state champion South Pittsburgh Pirates versus the Sequatchie County Indians. So catch one of us, catch us all, catch us later. Good night. God bless. I need a snack. My blood sugar's low.